Okay, go ahead and tell Gary how to do the background. I'll see if I agree. Murder.
You really want me to repeat it?
Sure.
Please.
Okay. Are you on an Apple device?
On a Mac, yeah.
Yeah. So you open your Zoom application and you go to preferences over on the left side. And then it will allow you to, in that preferences, it'll allow you to select a background or says something like that. You click that and then it comes up with a screen and it allows you to add. There's a little plus button over on the right side. You can do that. You should have loaded some kind of an image onto your computer, can download it from your phone or something like that onto the computer.
Actually, all I'm looking for is the Mahoney faded background.
Oh, there's a thing just for blur.
Like Chris has, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're in my bedroom, and I'd rather you not see everything that happens in my bedroom. That's all.
It's just a blur to me.
Next time, don't leave your camera on. No.
Well, for me, if you go to meetings, or go to settings and then to meetings.
Meetings advanced, right? So
What?
Meetings or meetings advanced?
I don't have meetings advanced.
Okay.
And then background effects, and you press on that, and it gives you blur, and there's some preset backgrounds on there, or you can load a picture, just like Dr. Jeff said.
Okay. It was nice to see you all tonight. We'll see you next Monday.
I'll see you after St. Patrick's Day. There's too many holidays coming up.
I know. I'm gonna be gone for a bunch of them.
What?
I know.
Well, I hope you and Pete can work it out, because I've never done it.
Is there anybody else coming?
I don't know. Pete said he wasn't, and it was something to do with the St. Patty's Day, so that means probably Mahoney's not. And
No, Mahoney, he sent something already.
oh, did he? Okay.
Oh, he did. Terry's sick.
Terry's
Oh,
sick.
really?
What about Mattson?
Yeah, Mattson and Donna should be here.
Yeah. Is that it?
So far.
How many do we have in our group?
11.
11. We barely have a quorum.
Majority, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's start. Go ahead and start.
All right.
All right.
Well, let's see how many people are here. They hated it last time. A couple at least. Well, I mean, like I said, but last week it's essentially Road Warrior on water.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'll just start off with some basic info. So 1995 is when it was made, is rated PG-13. The director, Kevin Reynolds, starred Kevin Costner, Gene Triplehorn, and Dennis Hopper. It did get one Oscar nomination for Best Sound. It got nominated for 4 Razzies, and the one for the Razzie for Worst Supporting Actor for Dennis Hopper.
Oh, come on. I love Hopper. It was great.
He was
He's
funny.
right there.
And funny. Yeah, he had some great funny lines too.
There was some humor in it. So I don't know if you guys watched it. I don't know if you want me to read through the whole summary of what happened, but
Does it take 3 hours to read through it?
so like you said in your email, there was a 3-hour version that was cut back to 135 minutes by Kevin Costner. Because it says in an effort to recoup the film's inflated $175 million budget. So I guess they just figured it was too long. although that extra time did give a lot of background about deleted scenes, explains more about the world, the people who live there, the smokers' religious beliefs, and their ability to refine crude oil. So Kevin Reynolds and Kevin Costner had a big argument over the film, resulting in Reynolds walking off the project and leaving Costner to take over directing and overseeing editing. Reynolds was quoted as saying that Kevin Costner should only star in movies that he directs. That way he can work with his favorite actor and favorite director. That was funny. So up until they made Titanic, this was the most expensive movie ever produced at $175 million. It did actually make money worldwide. It made 264 million, but only 88 million in the United States. So I enjoyed the movie. I kind of like these dystopian world movies, but the thing I really liked about this and Road Warrior 2 was all the cool contraptions and stuff that they invent. Like on his boat, he just had all kinds of cool things on there that, you know, made the sails go up super fast, and he could had all kinds of neat stuff. He had his little urine converter and he made it back into water so he could drink it. That was kind of gross, but kind of cool too. But I'm sure it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. I don't know if I would have watched the 3-hour version. I watched the shorter one, but
Had you seen it before?
I had, yeah, and I don't remember if I probably watched the same one because I don't really remember anything else that I didn't see this time, but yeah, I saw it, a long time ago, but
What did you want us to see? What was your recommendation based on?
well, like as I said last week, it was kind of up to you guys if you wanted to see Mad Max, which had all the kind of intro material to Road Warrior, kind of explained where it came from and what led up to that. Or this one, which, since several people hated Road Warrior, I thought I'd give the option. So
I kind of liked it, believe it or not. I haven't finished it, Jeff. I'm probably 30 minutes from the end. I chose to take a nap this afternoon instead. But I absolutely loved Enola. What a wonderful, smart little girl. I mean, she had it going on and she didn't mind to tell you what's what about anything. And she was great. And the mariner became enamored with her, taught her how to swim and that sort of thing. So I'm anxious to actually watch the rest of it and see how it comes out. I've read the plot on Wikipedia, but yeah, I did like that. And then Jack Daniels and National Geographic and a few of those people, I'm sure, had to put up a little bit of money for their little spots in there. But I kind of liked it, believe it or not.
Do they do advertising like they used to? They still do that? I mean,
Side sponsorship?
yeah. Does it seem like
I don't
Placement.
know if it did or not.
It's more placement. You see the Coca-Cola in the scene. It's not so much that they throw up an ad in the middle of the movie, but
right?
I think placement started probably before Waterworld even.
I think that was a thing going back to the 80s. That's when it really kind of took off. Or if you needed, a bunch of people flown here and there, you would see an airplane with the tail logo, and all of a sudden Delta gets 30 seconds of screen time and all the air is covered. But I think that became a thing in the 80s. That was fairly new. Yeah, since I'm 70, the 80s, it seemed like that was yesterday.
Or in the case of the Apple produced stuff, they just put Apple equipment everywhere in their productions.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, I've decided that I appreciate movies on two levels. One, if it gets to my heart because I fall in love with the story and I fall in love with the characters, like Chris was talking about with Enola, and then I watch other movies because I fall in love with them with my head, and I'm looking at the contraptions on the boat, and I'm thinking, I wonder who came up with that, or I'm watching the scene and figured out how did they shoot that, where was the helicopter? This was pre-drone, how did they pull that off on water? And I appreciated this movie mostly from my head, not from my heart. The story to me, didn't do much for me, but I was engaged in the movie because I understand, and I think Steven Spielberg told them, do not shoot a movie on the water because you will go into the hole in budget when he did Jaws. And but I know there's a lot of money spent, but the production of the movie and the fact that it was done on water and the way it was done, I was entertained just by watching the spectacle, not because I thought it was a great story, because like you, I thought it was Mad Max on water. It's a fairly simple story. One guy against all the droogs, the dystopian enemies are in this movie. But I appreciated it on that level. It was a head movie for me, not a heart movie.
Yeah, it's I came across one thing that was pretty interesting, just that you wouldn't think about in that. Well, I wouldn't think about because I don't know how to make movies, but it said that the floating atoll used the set that used up all the available steel in the Hawaiian Islands, which I guess is where this was filmed. So they needed more, had to be flown in from California. The runway at Kona Airport actually had to be extended by a 1/4 mile to accommodate all the heavy planes that were coming in for this movie.
Oh.
So you can imagine the money they spent doing that stuff.
Yeah, and I read, like you did, that halfway through it, Costner and Reynolds split up, and Costner ended up directing it, but Reynolds still got the directing credit. And I don't know if that because Costner wanted him to take the blame for it, or they can take the credit for it.
Costner, he put in 22 million of his own money too.
Whoa.
I also read that Costner, and what was the director's name?
Reynolds.
In the beginning, they sat down and said, what can we do to rip off Mad Max?
Really?
That was the kind of the premise of getting started. Did you see that, Jeff?
No, I didn't see that.
Apparently that's what they did. They sat down and said, okay, what's a way to do that? And so they came up with this, we'll do it on water. That'll be our dystopian, universe. And
Instead of in the desert.
Yeah, instead of in the desert. And I just thought, I thought that was brave that they sat down and said, we're going to rip this off.
Yeah. That's what they say in Wikipedia.
Essentially it. Yeah.
Yeah. When they see that there's money being made, I mean, there's going to be Barbie movies until we all die, I think. They made $1 billion on that movie, and that is a lot of money to anybody, much less the guys in Hollywood that want to make 100 million every once in a while.
G.I. Joe, the untold story.
Right.
And so, where there'll be Ken, sequels and all that kind of stuff. It'll be everywhere.
What's that other cartoon? Archie and Jughead and all those people. What was that called?
Archie
Comics.
Archie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Archie.
I didn't see it.
Oh, there's a movie idea.
Or the
So Barbie made $1 billion.
yeah, oh yeah, already. I mean, that was this past summer, it crossed $1 billion. I don't know where it is now.
Jeff, my favorite scene, and it was worth the whole 2.5 hours or whatever, was when he took her underwater in the diving bubble, and he got to skim through the lost city. That was an amazing scene, and that was worth it to me, the whole thing, just seeing that unfold.
I read that was supposed to be Denver.
Right.
I don't know much about Denver, so I didn't see anything that would have told me Denver, but that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, that was great.
And this is kind of an aside, but I read that a recent study showed that the peaks of the highest peaks in the world were contained sand from under the sea. And so Mount Everest's peak at one time
Was underwater.
was the bottom of the sea. And it was right after I'd seen Waterworld. So I said, boy, if these guys knew that,
Yeah.
they would have gone to town with that too. But that's hard to get your head around all that.
Well, you know, this was supposed to be because the polar ice caps melted, right?
Right.
But I was reading, you know, the goofs or whatever, and they said that even if the polar ice caps melt, well, first of all, polar ice caps, that would have almost no effect on the water level because, you know, the mass of the polar ice caps is essentially underwater, so it wouldn't change the level of water on land. What would change it is if all the ice on land melted. But even that, it would only raise the sea level by 400 some feet. So, you know, cities like Denver are like, you know, over 5,000 feet high. So it wouldn't be underwater yet. So,
well, Miami would be there and New Orleans would be there.
Right.
oh yeah, there a lot of it would be, but not
I think in the script,
the whole world.
whether they indicate it or not, it's supposed to be when they discover dry land, it's supposed to be Everest, right? Is that what I read? Yeah.
Yes.
Did
You
they
there?
make reference to that? Was there a reference in the movie to that?
I don't think so. I think maybe I read a script, or is it based on a book, or is it based on something else that was implied or either, you know, spelled out?
It may have been in the longer version that something said that. I'm not sure.
Is that the longer version? Is that where Elena and Toto fall in love? And no, not that.
Now, Wikipedia, if you read under where it says plot, it mentions Mount Everest in
Maybe
there.
that's where I read it. Yeah.
So what the rest of you guys think? Favorite movie?
I liked it better than I thought I was going to like it.
Yeah, me
Just
too.
because I thought, well, this is going to be the same thing, and it was kind of the same thing, but they threw enough cool stuff into his boat and into the way that they would sneak up on people, like they had those sea-doos underwater, and they had the little tubes that were going up to the surface, so those guys that were getting ready to jump them could breathe until the deacon said hit it, and there in the first atoll he went into with the big gates and everything, and the way that they had sort of developed their civilization was a lot like that oil station that was in Mad Max. They just really kind of rewrote that. I was kind of curious whether there was a threat of any lawsuit for plagiarism for the plot, because it's not disguised. It's pretty obvious what they're doing. But I didn't think they carried it off. They put enough different stuff in it to make it at least interesting. And then at the end, Kevin Costner really wasn't a landlubber. He couldn't do that, so he took off. And that was kind of poetic in its own way. And everybody's kind of watching him. Okay, bye. And I thought that was
it even
cool.
had the guy in the airplane. That was
yeah, that's right.
Like Mad Max,
With those gills behind his ears and everything, he probably couldn't live on land very long anyway.
Right. That's why he's always drinking water.
But he was able to have sex, so some things either mutated for the better or for the worse. I'm not sure which.
I wondered if he got her pregnant and then she would have a baby that had gills.
Oh, God.
Thereby solving a lot of other problems.
That could be the sequel.
Webbed feet too. The webbed feet. That was creepy.
Yeah. That was just barely shown, but I did see that.
So we're waiting on Waterworld 2, the sequel.
Well,
Yeah.
when he left, that's what I thought. I thought, well, they set it up for a sequel. They didn't know they would ever get one because they blew $200 million.
They did
Yeah.
eventually make money though, right?
Yeah.
By the time they sold it and had it on video and all the other stuff like that, I thought I saw they grossed some, or they took in about $264 million. So even after marketing costs and the production cost of 175 million and so forth, they still came out like 60 or 80 million dollars ahead.
And I'm proud to be a part of that profit line.
Yes, me too, because I lost the first rental and I had to rent it twice.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Should have bought
thank
it.
you.
It was also a game, and it was
Right.
some rides at Universal Park and some things like that.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw them. Yeah.
Those
They-
are still running. They're like
And there's-
four
there's
different
still-
places. Yeah.
Really?
and they're still out there, yeah. So I guess there's room for whenever the Mariner becomes the Ancient Mariner, we can have Waterworld #2.
The Yellowstone Mariner.
Right. When he gets
I
done
read
with
that.
Yellowstone, it's taken him 5 years just to get through Yellowstone. So
I've never seen that show, but I saw some previews for it, and I've heard some of you guys mention it, but he seems to be in
Good.
a lot of successful stuff. I guess he's had some bad ones too, but
Who? Costner?
yeah,
I don't think he's had
I
too
guess
much.
Wyatt Earp was a disaster financially.
One? What one?
Wyatt.
Earp.
White Earp?
Oh. Mhm.
Hatfields and McCoys was one that some people probably didn't like. I kind of liked it.
I like that one. That
Yeah.
got me to watch.
I feel like he's a fairly brave guy. He's jumped into a lot of different projects that had the potential to go sideways and really took off okay, like Field of Dreams and Dances with Wolves and other stuff like that, which were not standard fare, really.
Yeah, the wildly successful.
What
My
was-
baseline is what was the movie maker trying to do, and we've discovered that he was trying to rip off Waterworld or put Mad Max on water. That was it. How can we rip off somebody else? And was he successful? And was it worth it? And I thought it was worth it. I liked it, and whatever the $3.99 I spent on it, and the afternoon I spent watching it, I thought it was very watchable.
Entertaining. There is a sequel comic book series I'm reading right here, but it said that Costner wouldn't let him use his likeness in the comic book, and so he kind of made the Mariner in a different form. But I guess it's called Children of Leviathan. So there is a sequel of sorts out there for it.
So why do you think it was and eventually a box office success? Why do you think it was not? I mean, one sound Oscar nomination. It's a major motion picture. Wonder why it didn't get critical acclaim or even box office success in the beginning. Do you think it was a weak story, weak acting, too long? Because
it did get some other nominations for other, lesser known awards. I didn't write down what they were, but
They were mostly like sci-fi. It was sci-fi kind of awards.
Did you think it was confusing to follow the story, or you just couldn't identify with the characters? Or I'm trying to speak on behalf of a mass audience on why it didn't connect. Anybody have an idea?
It was a little unclear about what they were trying to do. They, obviously there was an intention to try to get to dry land, but the Mariner, his agenda wasn't completely clear about that. It's like, well, dry land is down there where it used to be. You want to see dry land? I'll show you dry land. It's not there anymore.
So give up?
Well, he was content to be out there on the ocean forever, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
But he kind of got involved with these women, and that kind of changed moved his rudder a little bit, so he changed to that. To that.
Wow, that was you. Have you been saving that up all night?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can I write that down? That was
Good one.
Don't, please don't. In fact, I'm kind of ashamed it's recorded.
You know, the sea monster thing was kind of weird. You know, I guess that's how he ate, was he hunted the sea monster? I don't know, how did he attract it? He was just like
Splashing
looked like he
around.
spread his
He
arms
was just
out.
splashing around like he was the bait.
Yeah, he got
Yeah,
swallowed.
yeah,
He
yeah.
got swallowed and then blew it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that was another thing where he was doing it for the women. It was like, you're hungry? Here, I'll show you how you get food. A fishing rod's going to do you no good out here at all. Watch this. And then boom, he goes and does it. So he enjoyed having an audience, I think. Or something.
Yeah.
And they're laying back and burping because they're eating big giant pieces, like alligator or something, or dolphin. And but yeah, I agree with Dr. Jeff that he just seemed to be content to be where he was by himself. He kept telling everybody, "I don't need you. You're extra weight to me. You know, let's just throw the kid out, and then if you don't like it, I'll throw you out." You know, he was kind of gruff.
But eventually he needed human connection too. He couldn't be a loner forever, right?
Apparently,
He got
yeah.
drawn back, right?
Yeah, I would say that was part of the plot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He became him. Where did he come from? We don't know, but he probably had some human in him, and so that took over too. Instead of being a cold, you know,
Fish.
he was
Wow.
really human and had a little glow going on in there that we didn't know about. Yeah. But you know, if you're going to tally up who liked it and who didn't, I liked it. I thought it was good. I liked it more than I did the Mad Max 2.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It had a lot more that kept me engaged while it was going along, besides just the chase scenes. And you know, they had plenty in there too. But I loved the villain in this one. I thought the other villain was pretty good, and everybody talks about who's the greatest of all time. But I think Hopper's hard to beat. He's one of my favorite villains. He was in a lot of stuff. He was in what was the one with where the bus never stopped?
Speed.
Speed. He was the villain in that the whole time, man. He's
Really?
on the. Oh yeah, he was telling him, "You slow down, you blow up." You know.
Even in Blue Velvet, he was like the evil guy.
He was horribly evil in that. But that scene in Blue Velvet where he's sniffing at the same time while he's trying to hold these people hostage is just. I'm sure if Terry was here, he would tell you that was one of his favorite scenes. Because, you know, it's just so far out. Hopper was unafraid to be a villain. He was unafraid to try things. You know, in Apocalypse Now, he's the journalist running around.
Mhm.
Be nice to him. Don't look at him wrong. Whatever you do, be careful. He was just, I don't know. I had a great time watching it, and I kind of felt guilty that I didn't watch the 3-hour one then, because I was like, wow, this is pretty good.
See?
The whole time I was watching it, I kept thinking they would tell Hopper, I don't know, just make up a line. He always had these like, you know, expressive lines, and it reminded me of Apocalypse Now, where it was whoever it is, Duvall says, "Oh, I love the smell of napalm in the morning," and it just seemed like every time Hopper had a line, it was some sort of bombastic line. What can I do to get all my screen time in? And I can see why he got a Razzie for best or worst supporting actor, because camera's on me. Let me see what I can.
Well, mine, if you can't read the copy on mine, but I left the closed caption in, and it says, "We got to keep an eye out on this guy."
That scene where his eyeball popped out was particularly juicy.
So gross.
Yeah,
He looked at it and said, "It does look like shit." Yeah. I'll just keep it like this.
And I think he called him an ichthyorous freak. This ichthy freak.
Yeah.
Which means scaly freak is what that means, basically.
It does look like shit, said the plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
Bill, did you like it?
Well, I thought it was, you know, an awfully lot like Mad Max. I kind of felt like I was watching the same movie, but cinematography, cinematography, I thought it was really nice. Yeah, you know, watching the action on the water and everything, well put together, and I did get to watch it on my son's what is it, like ultra high definition TV, where like these, you know, people like they pop out, and, you know, and it was kind of a good movie to watch that way. Makes me want to get one of those TVs. I think it would enhance almost every show we see. But but
Did you
yeah,
get
I
wet?
like it, and I'd seen it before too. I liked it. I saw
Oh,
it.
you had seen it before?
Oh yeah, I saw it when it came out. I mean, I really liked Kevin Costner since he was in Silverado, right? When he one of the main characters in Silverado. But I
I
like,
can't recall, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gang that was in there.
yeah,
Is that a
You know,
Western?
you know what his first appearance was? He was the dead guy in the movie where everybody got together for the weekend to go to the funeral.
Big Chill.
The Big Chill.
He was the corpse?
He was the corpse. That was his first
Terrible.
major motion picture.
Pulling his pant legs down. Yeah. Putting his
Yeah.
cufflinks on. Yeah, you never
Right.
saw his face.
Right.
but I mean, I really liked that one, No Way Out too. I thought that was a good show. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one, but No Way Out, where he's the Russian spy that's embedded in the Pentagon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah, that's
He
pretty.
climbed up into the to the ceiling and hid out for a while, and
Yeah,
yeah.
while they were looking for him, a couple of them, they had kind of a partial picture or something like that. They kept hiding from him. If you haven't ever seen it, I'll throw it out there as a movie to watch. I mean, that can be my movie to watch this week. But my I got to see it with my son over there in St. Louis, and the girl Enola, he goes, that girl, you know who she is? And I go, no, because I couldn't recall it. I'd ever seen her in anything else, but she was Napoleon Dynamite's girlfriend.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I don't know if she's been in other things too. You know, I didn't recognize her really, and she'd grown up a lot since she was in Napoleon Dynamite. She was must have been quite a few years later, probably 8 or
Did you
9.
tell it was her?
I wouldn't have known, huh? But I remember, yeah, I can remember kind of looking for her and other things, and don't recall ever seeing her or anything else, you know. But
I know she was in Veronica Mars, which was a series, and something called Karina.
I didn't see either one of those. But then also, I guess this show was one of Jack Black's early appearances in a movie. Jack Black played was he a pilot, or he was
A bird hunter?
is that what he was? A bird hunter? I mean, he really had
We need to peek for that one though. Without Pete here, it falls flat.
but he had a dark beard and everything, wore the big navigator sunglasses, but that was Jack Black in there.
That was when the seaplane was flying around the trimaran, right? And he was trying to cut him off.
Yeah, and he had there was a scene at the end too where they were all sitting around a table or something, and Jack Black was in there. He was like billed like 6th or 7th in the whole thing. So it had some pretty interesting characters when you know, like Mad Max 2. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to know who any of those other people were, you know, but in this one, at least you knew some of the other characters.
If they
Jack Black?
go ahead.
Sorry. No.
if a star rises in prominence, do they go back and change the credits and put them higher on the list than the credits, or are those credits kind of part of the whole film?
I wouldn't think would be able to do that, but
I could see that on, Netflix, they might promote it as starring Jack Black.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in the final,
the credit.
No. The credits of the movie, yeah.
That'd be hard to do, probably.
Because when you watching or Netflix or something or Amazon or something, there's Kevin Costner, Sissy Spacek, and would you like to watch the trailer before you decide to watch this or buy this? They might bump those names up into that.
Yeah.
Those
Otherwise,
people-
it's kind of revisionist history.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but on the trailer for this, I watched the trailers for the movies before I watch any movie, almost. And with Mad Max and this one, it was the same guy, and I can't remember his name. Jack Fontaine, is that De La Fontaine, something like that? For a time, he was the voice of trailers in Hollywood. I looked him up, and I knew that he was just on everything for a long time. He just had this great voice, and he would.
The Mel Blanc of movie trailers.
There you go. Yeah. And he's in the Hollywood Forest Park Cemetery right now. So no chance of him doing anything more, but.
So Bill, when you get your new television,
yeah,
make sure Pete's available to help you move it.
That's right.
I'm curious what it was your son has. What brand or what are the specs?
I know. I kept asking, what kind of TV do you have? And he was like, look at that scene, Dad. And I don't know, maybe he had like a special TV that he didn't want to give out the details on it or something. But I will ask, and I will report back to you, because I think I might get one for Christmas or shortly.
Oh.
You need to wait until after the Super Bowl, because
We're right before the Super Bowl. They have huge sales.
people. Oh, really? I thought it was right after.
It's before, right before, maybe after as well. But I know right before the Super Bowl, there's a lot of sales going on. But
Okay, what do you guys? What does everybody think? Before or after the Super Bowl?
before.
We should compare prices. We should pick a TV, see what the price is 1 week before the Super Bowl, and see what the price is 1 week after the Super Bowl. And then Chris and I can Indian leg wrestle to see
who gets it. Yeah. No, I have to tell you, my neighbor who lives directly across the street from me, I have a giant picture window in front of my house. He has a giant picture in front of his house, picture window. And he has a 7-foot television that I can watch.
From your house?
Yes, but I can watch. Oh, he's got the Mariners game on. So I open the blinds. You don't need all the commentary.
You don't need a new TV. You just need to ask him to plug in your movie.
Just call him up. Woody, could you turn on the Waterworld? Oh, now Woody is all into sports. Whatever he's got, it's on ESPN. It's he's watching golf. He's watching bowling. He's watching soccer. He's watching.
That's hilarious.
And he also has a couple of hot tubs and a what used to be a pool room of his house. I mean, he got his house from his parents.
A couple of hot tubs?
Yeah. And
how many do you need?
I don't know, but it was a pool room, indoor pool, and then they got rid of the pool, and then sold it to Woody or gave it to Woody. I don't know, one or the other. And I haven't been invited to any of his parties or anything. I'm not that good of a neighbor.
Is this around the big picture window that you can see?
No, it's in the back. It's behind the TV in the wall.
Oh.
So are you
Maybe
friends? Are you
We
friends?
just have to guess about that all the time. My wife and I sit there and go, "Oh, look at there, 3 Escalades and 3
Whoa.
blonde women."
Look at here.
Whoa.
Oh, look who showed up.
Hi. I am
Hello.
so sorry. It's been one of those days and senior moments. I was all ready.
You're-
thank God,
You
and I'm
are
back.
the
got crossed out?
tiebreaker. There's 7 of us here deciding whether this was a good movie or not.
Well,
I think
Um,
we all appreciated it. What do you think?
Yes, yeah, well, I'll tell you, Barry, Gary, when you said last time that everyone, you heard someone say it was too gray, that was my memory of it. My memory was it was gray, and I had no really good, I didn't really remember it. I just remembered feeling that it was dreary and gray. And this time, God, I'm this time, I was like, oh my gosh, it was like watching a brand new movie. First of all, it had all my favorite kind of genres in there. There was like the Wizard of Oz when that
Balloon?
guy goes off in the dirigible, and Dorothy is left down there, Helen is left down there, and that guy is up in that thing. Then they had like a swashbuckling movie, like Errol Flynn. Then it was like, I mean, everything about it, I liked it. I liked it way better than I thought I would, and that I did the first time. So yeah, I liked it. I mean, there were flaws, of course, but it was I was surprised that I was engaged throughout the whole thing. I don't know if I saw the long one or the short one. I don't know. I saw it on Prime, but whatever. I thought it was fun. I mean, it was kind of Aquaman was in there. I mean, there was everything in there. It was fun to me. It was just fun. The action scenes, the swashbuckler, and then like the pirates and the smokers. Everything about it was just it was fun watching it. Scary because it seems like, oh, really? I think it takes place in what, 2500 or something like that. Wasn't that it?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. And it's like, and the polar ice caps have melted and they're melting, and it's like, oh, we're going to have these little what did they call them? Atolls or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I just character, from 1 minute him trying to hate what was the little girl's name? Enola.
You
Yeah, Enola. Not liking her and then liking her, and who could not not like her, but everything was interesting about it. Way better than I thought. So I have to give it a thumbs up. So if I'm breaking the tie, I'd have to. I mean, it was just.
I think everybody appreciated it for different reasons. Chris talked about how she fell in love with the characters and Enola, and Jeff Arthur and I talked about we fell in love with the gadgets, and there was all the stuff,
Yes.
and I fell in love with how, what it took to shoot it, and I appreciated the fact that. And I, found out later how much it cost to try to shoot everything on water. So everybody picked out different things that they liked about it and thought, yeah, that was worth a couple hours.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was it was just fun, more fun than I thought. And I love the characters were wonderful. Even though what's his name? Dennis Hopper, a little over the top, but he was a smoker. What do we expect from a smoker? Yeah.
That's right.
And that was funny too, that smokers were like the bad guys. Anyone that smokes is a bad guy. And it was just funny,
Well, you need to go back and watch the videotape, because Jeff Copeland and Mike Sanders got a couple puns off that are, worth your time.
Oh, really?
water related references that are.
Well, what did they call it? Like, what did they call it? Fish tar when it first came out?
Yeah.
Instead of, yeah. And there was, how fun.
Fish tar.
Well, anyway, it was, and I'm so sorry I'm late. I was, and last week I couldn't even, I didn't have a TV last week. So I never got to see.
We got a TV for you.
Yeah, we're working on that too. We're
going to be the tie-breaking vote here.
Apparently, if you go to Tacoma, you can watch Sanders' neighbor's TV from his house. He's got such a big TV.
You can see it from space.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding.
Well, I got a pretty big one, but boy, the thing was the deal. I did a Black Friday deal that was so phenomenal that I said, I can't say no. We literally spent, it's so weird. It's a 65-inch smart TV Fire for $149. Brand new.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was like, are you kidding? Of course. So we got that, but then in order to install it, they wanted $282. And I said, no,
Yeah.
I can't, right. So
Delivery.
I can do this. I can do this. What's that? What? I've done the TVs before. I figured I could do it again. Well, yeah, well, that was a little bit of a mistake. I can't figure out. I don't know. There's just a couple of things I haven't figured out yet. So last week I never got to see Road Warrior.
Or you can only watch from the floor because you got it on the ceiling, right?
Well, if you watched Waterworld, just
Yes.
imagine Waterworld with sand instead of water, and you have
But
seen.
yeah, that's I'm sure.
In fact,
I want
in going
I wanna
through
know.
Wikipedia, it says that it's a ripoff of.
Yeah, of Waterworld. Yeah, I read that too, Bill. Yeah. Yeah,
wanna know, Donna-
that's where he got his inspiration, was from Road Warrior.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you have not been disappointed if Dennis Hopper wasn't over the top? I mean,
Yeah, I probably would have been I mean, he has to be over. He always is over the top.
Yeah.
Always. That's him. Yeah. Well,
Is
again,
he
in
the
the
same?
I'm
Is he
sorry.
the same Hopper that was in
Easy
Yes.
Easy
Easy
Rider.
Rider?
Sure,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Hey, and
But
one
you
more
know,
thing.
because
The-
I'm sorry.
He had a regular role in Gunsmoke for a while.
Yeah,
He
Wow.
had been around.
he goes way back, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to throw in one more thing that we didn't really talk about, was when they did blow up the tanker that he and his crowd had, and it was sinking in, we saw it was the Exxon Valdez.
I know.
I just thought that was a
Yeah,
nice touch.
that's right. The Exxon Valdez.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was so. I mean, everything about it was way better this time around for me. So, and even Dennis Hopper, you know, so you've got the swashbuckler, you know, with his, you know, running across the ship on a, you know, swinging across on a rope, and then Dennis Hopper has a eye patch. I mean, it was all, oh my God, it's just everything about it.
Very
It's all-
piratey.
Yes, the
Arr.
big pirate. Yeah, our matey. Yeah. But it
So
was
do you know what letter in the alphabet is a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
Ah, no, the C.
Ba-boom,
Sorry,
boom.
That's
That's a
David.
dad joke.
That's
Yeah.
a David Aguirre joke. Sorry.
David, you mean not Cruz? It
No.
sounds more like a Cruz joke.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
So who's up?
Anyway.
Who's up next week?
Bill.
Oh,
Oh.
Bill.
Oh, all right, Bill.
Where are we
What are we
going,
in?
Bill?
Next week, I saw this movie when it came out, and I remember it as being real good, but I haven't seen it since. So it came out in 1999. But I picked a movie called The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh, yes.
So we lost. No, we didn't lose Jeff. His thing's on,
Just-
but
He just went to put his cigarette out. He'll be right back.
but
You wouldn't
Didn't
believe what
pick his eyeball off the floor.
I'm anxious.
Scared you.
Oh, God.
I'm anxious to see it because I remember it as being a really good movie.
It is good. yeah.
And so I brought it up on Wikipedia and was looking at it, and it got nominated for tons of awards, like 5 Academy Awards, but it doesn't look like it won much. But that's kind of how I remember it, as being really well put together, great scenery, well acted, and
Who's in that one? I forget.
Matt Damon,
Jude Law.
Jude Law. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know that one.
Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Blanchett, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Nobody.
Wow.
Nobody.
Yeah, no.
Bunch of folks that will never make it anywhere. Yeah.
You know, my wife is not a member of the League of Unpaid Film Critics, but her question as I came to this meeting tonight was, do you guys ever pick anything from this century?
I did. I
It's
did.
just me.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many good ones from from the last century, I guess. Someone was talking about Casablanca, that they had never seen it or something. Wasn't one of you guys?
Wow.
I mean,
I'm not sure I've seen the whole thing. I think I've seen snippets.
oh my gosh. Yeah, well, you know, well, that's why, I guess, because there's movies that are just so good.
Does the League of Unpaid Film Critics really need to critique Casablanca?
No. but they need to have seen
The
it.
jury's still out on that one.
If somebody wants us to, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
It's good
I've never
buying.
seen Gone with the Wind either.
Oh my.
Oh, no, that was 4 hours long.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably why I haven't seen it.
And that we
Right.
can't, right? It's-
There's a real intermission there and necessary.
There is.
Yeah.
There
Mhm.
is an intermission in it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I remember that there used to be a lot of intermissions and everything, but it kind of went
Especially
out of favor.
musicals, I think. Yeah.
There you go,
for some
Sound
reason.
of Music. I remember an intermission
Yeah.
from that.
Funny Girl had an intermission.
Yep, there you go.
Have we researched the last major motion picture with an intermission? Seems like somebody looked that up. Didn't you look that up, Sanders?
Well,
No?
well, I was saying that I watched Patton. And,
Oh, there you go, Bill.
and when I got like, it was not a 3-hour movie, but it was close to 3 hours. But it got there and I said, it had an intermission. And I said, it might be the last movie that had an intermission, but I think everybody else started pointing out different other movies that came out after that and that still had intermissions.
Yeah.
Like somebody said, Mad World.
Yeah. It
Oh,
did.
yeah.
It was before Patton, technically.
It's an opportunity to sell popcorn.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, you'd think that the theaters would demand it.
Yeah.
Well, on Flower Moon, Killers of the Flower Moon, a lot of movie theaters did it anyway. And it
Yeah.
pissed off Scorsese.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I read that too.
But they just went ahead and found a place that they thought was a good place to break. And, you know, of course, that's the things. Directors are going to argue about where that is.
Right.
But somebody of the smaller chains just couldn't afford not to do it because people would walk out or they wouldn't finish the movie or whatever, or they would complain.
Wow.
That's where we need Bob Falmer to talk about that. Bob would do that. He would do his own intermission probably.
And the film would burn up in the projector. I don't care. We're selling popcorn.
But we'll leave that to another time, I guess.
Anybody have any other movies? I didn't see any other movies this week, I don't think.
Well, Sanders sent me an email today about the American Symphony. And
Yes.
my wife and Joan and I started watching it. And I said, we can watch it up to a point, then I got to go meet with the LUFC. And before I even got to this meeting, I cried twice in that movie, and we're going to go finish it. And I don't know how it ends, but
Is that the John Baptiste one, right?
the
Yeah.
first 45 minutes
I
are.
watch-
I said,
Yeah.
It's good.
you know, I watch movies for two reasons. One, because it grabs my heart, or because it grabs my head with
Yeah.
the production. This is a heart movie, a really
Yeah.
heart movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched the whole thing. It was excellent, I
Yeah.
thought.
I did
Right.
too. And my prediction is it'll win 2 Oscars. It'll win Best Documentary and Best
Best
Song.
song. Yeah. I haven't heard
Probably.
the finished song, but I think you're on your way. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched a movie that I wasn't really going to watch, but my book club, not my movie club, my book club, we read The Only Woman in the Room, which is a story about Hedy Lamarr. And then there's a movie, I think it's on Netflix, that's called Bombshell, not the one that was about Fox, but this is, you know, back in the, I don't know, 80s, 70s, maybe 80s. It's called Bombshell, and it's the story of Hedy Lamarr and all the things. You guys probably know that she was a scientist, and she actually patented what they're using now from remote controls and the internet. Never got paid for it, of course, but because she was so beautiful, that was one of the problems, you know. But anyway, so that was kind of interesting if you're interested. That was kind of an interesting movie about Hedy Lamarr.
Did she have something to do with Radar as well?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, what she was trying to do was find a way. I guess in World War II, all our torpedoes were going off course once, and so they were missing. They were constantly missing, and she figured out a way that they could be that you could radio control the torpedoes. But then the Army did not take it because I guess they would have had to, I don't know, but they didn't take it anyway. It was probably because a woman designed it, you know, so
This
they weren't
crazy
going to-
lady.
yeah, crazy lady. So then so and I guess the patent ran out, and then they started using it afterwards. So
He's considered the grandmother of sonar, though.
yeah,
So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
where that came
sonar,
from.
yeah. And she was so gorgeous, you know, just absolutely beautiful. But she made a film, and she was put down in Hollywood because she made a film called Ecstasy in Austria, and she thought it was an art film. And she's like 18 years old, and she's naked, and she simulates an orgasm on film first time. Well, that went, you know, everybody just hated her after that. So
Well, I think we just got another extra movie to watch.
What's that? What's the name of that?
Good thing the holidays are coming up, yeah. And where's that streaming? Where's that Austrian art film streaming?
We're all going to start getting emails from porn sites now.
Uh-oh. It's gonna be on all of our
that's true.
Facebook feeds and everything, Donna, thanks.
All right, anybody else got anything before I?
No, I wanted to say, I did watch May, December, and at first I didn't know if I really liked it, but it was a good movie. So if
It is a good
anybody's
movie.
thinking
May,
about that
December?
one, May, December.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't watch it. Yeah.
You watched it, Donna, or did not?
No, I did not watch it. I kept on thinking, do I want to? But now I will. Now I will.
That's a great character study of a character
And-
study. Yeah.
Also, I want to point out that it won't be coming out soon, but it will be, I think it's on Christmas Day. It's called The Boys in the Boat.
Oh yeah,
And this
that
is
is a good book.
It's a good book, and what's the guy's name? Was the director? The good-looking
George Clooney?
Bradley, no, Clooney.
No.
Yeah, George Clooney, right?
George Clooney. George Clooney is the director, and it's the University of Washington's rowing team winning the Olympic gold in 1936 in Berlin.
Fantastic. And there's a
Is that this century or that?
No, that was last century.
1936,
But
wasn't it?
it was made in this century.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it was 2023 movie. So
Okay.
it's a historical movie.
But
Got
they
it.
also have the actual footage that was what was the name
interspersed,
of the German director, Hitler's director? She has footage of the actual people in the book. I mean, in the boat, that when they won. But Hitler wouldn't allow, well, first of all, he wouldn't allow the two Jewish guys to even be in the boat, so they had to find two other people. And then he wouldn't, I guess he wouldn't even shake hands or something.
Don't give this away, Donna. We
Oh,
got
I'm not. You'll see it. It's really good. It's good.
All
I'm
right.
sorry. Yes,
That's-
it's good. But there's another movie beside the old movie you can see besides the actual race. So it's good.
I saw a little musical feature on Netflix. I didn't get to watch all the way through it, but it's about Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead, and
Oh, cool.
he's still at it, and it's pretty good. Kind
That's
of
good.
I like some of that Dead history.
Yep.
Hey, maybe we should talk about holidays just for a little bit, since they are coming up. I know it's getting to be dinner time, but I'm assuming Bill will go next week, which is the 18th. And then we're gonna take what, 2 weeks off?
Two,
Chris-
yeah.
Christmas and New Year's.
Then I'll be gone 2 weeks after that.
Am I after you, Bill?
No, I think I am.
Oh, good. I'm gonna be on a cruise for New Year's for about 10 days, so I probably won't be
Miss
on the,
Kate,
We should stop and commemorate the fact that a year ago, Bill was not on this Zoom because he nearly face planted himself into eternity.
Yeah.
yes,
Bicycle. So we are
Yes.
glad you are back, and
we certainly are.
So
Absolutely.
wherever you go, stay off the bicycle, okay?
Yeah, do not.
did you end up doing the meeting? Did I get the phone number to Pete? Do you remember?
Yeah, you
I
did.
think we did.
yeah.
And then I
Pete took
made it.
over.
I don't know how. Oh, because he already had it. So I didn't even have to come out of my coma to talk to him or anything.
You carried on in your honor. Yeah.
Then I think I made it the next week, didn't I?
Yes. I remember,
From-
and I
from
think
the
you were,
hospital.
yeah, yeah,
My
and drugged up, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's hard to tell, you know.
I went and saw my therapist and I said, have things changed very much? And she said, well, you were in a neck brace when you first came in. So yeah, things have changed.
Yeah,
Jeff Arthur, thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
you bet.
All right.
yeah, it was good.
See you
All
guys
right.
next week.
All right, see
you.
you.
Here.
Bye-bye.
You guys.
Bye.
Bye.